GMGP, good morning, good people. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all decided to wake up with us. You're sick. You're sick in the head. There's a lot of fantasy football shows out there, but I promise y'all, they not like us. Brock Bowers, you looked a little quicker than fast. What does that even mean? Redraft, Dynasty, best ball, high stakes, we got you covered. And that's MVS and Justin Watson with some of the dopest tools designed to help you cancel out the noise and dominate your leagues. If there's a white wide receiver named Antoine, sign me up. Maybe it's cultural. I don't know. In season or off season, rain, sleet, hail, and snow, comma, semicolon, period, next sentence, to bring you the most actionable and entertaining content on YouTube. You don't go buy the dip on the Titanic.
Quarterback that you love, D-Bro. One of the best values in fantasy football.
Prop bets with my man JRich.
Is that yes! Let's go!
So wipe the crust out of your eye, get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake y'all asses up with Ray
and Jay
in the morning.
My God.
How good is
Dude,
he? How good is he? Let's get it. GMGP. It is Wednesday, April 30th. JRich, this is it. Last day of April. We're rounding out April 2025. Y'all decided to wake y'all asses up with me, my brother from another mother, Jordan Richards. You can find him at your boy JRich. Get at me on X at RayGQue. This is Wake Up with Ray and Jay. We got the good people in the building. This is the show where we talk things all NFL, college football, fantasy football, maybe a little news from the association here and there, but we have a good time. We vibe out with the people. Boo, he's booing the association. We vibe with the people. This is a show for the people, by the people, man. We got the people in the building. Anthony, what's happening with you? Cold World TDE, what's popping, baby? How y'all doing? How y'all doing this morning? Anthony in the building, Jimbo in the building. I see Jeff in the building. Kirk, what's going down with you? Richard Campbell, GMGP. To you, my friend. AJ in the building, what's going down? Stanley. Look at this from Cade Murphy. Rare 6 a.m. appearance from myself.
Let's go.
Good morning, everybody. There we go. Get that ass up, Cade. Wake up. Wake the hell up. Here's one right here from Andres. This is one right here. Waking up with the GOAT Ray and that loony JRich, calling you that Canadian loony. What's going on, man?
The disrespect.
Hey, turning the music up on him, man. You can't talk about JRich like that, man. GAGP from Germany. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good people. What's going down with my my German viewers? I appreciate y'all being in the building. Wake up with Ray and Jay every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the channel, talking all things, whatever's going on in the sports world. We got a lot to discuss today. And for those of y'all that didn't catch it last night, I know you see it on the TV in the back. In the Discord with the patrons, we went through our first wide receiver usage series, going through the Jacksonville Jaguars situation, the landing spot for Travis Hunter, looking at the route deployments of Liam Cohen's wide receivers last year, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, Jalen McMillan, looking real in depth at the routes, what they did, and how we could project Travis Hunter to fall into this offense. Who's going to be Godwin? Who's going to be Evans? If you want that information, if you want to vibe out with the squad, patreon.com/allgas, or go to the website, ddfantasyfootball.com, and join the community. JRich, how are you doing this morning, my man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah, it was an interesting day in sports. Ray doing the Lord's work. Bless you for the timestamps. Yes, yeah. Ray. You know, you've been getting on it with the timestamps, helping the people out find this show. It's a long show, so you're doing the people a favor to only get to the parts that they want to see. But I am good, my friend. I'm good. It was a bit of a boring night in sports, you know, especially here in Toronto. The Jays got stomped by the Red Sox, which I was fine with. But the Leafs, Ray. I know the people don't want to talk about the Leafs, but it's getting a little grim out here. I know you're not familiar with the Leafs' history, but the Leafs have a tendency of blowing it. They have a tendency of blowing it in the first round, and they may be blowing it to the in-province rivals, the Battle of Ontario against the Ottawa Senators, Ray. It'd be like if the Dallas Cowboys lost to the Houston Texans it's might be worse than that, honestly. Yeah. Now they would.
If the Dallas Cowboys lose,
that's kind of what it's like.
When they lose to the damn Houston Texans, we talking about win. All right, we got some news though, JRich. A little bit of news from the NFL. A little bit of news. Let me get those timestamps in there. The highest paid tight end in NFL history is now San Francisco 49ers All-Pro George Kittle getting the bag. JRich, what did Kittle sign for yesterday?
4 years, $76.4 million. Yeah, $35 million guaranteed at signing, $40 million guaranteed overall. Like 2.5 years guaranteed, basically, is about where it stands. But this is Kittle from his 32 to 36 year seasons. Damn.
Yeah, man.
Look, JRich Kittle has been one of the best tight ends in the NFL for like the past 7 years, I believe, is the closest number. And you could go even longer than that if you want. But, whew, Ray, the final domino still needs to drop. They paid JRich Kittle. They have paid just about everyone else. They got rid of Deebo Samuel. And now we're waiting on the $50+ million man.
He's getting 50, man.
He's getting 50. Comment.
He's getting 50.
Brock Purdy. How much is he getting? And what would you be comfortable spending if those are two different numbers?
You got to pay what you got to pay. The price is the price.
But what is the price? Is it Dak prices? Is it T-Law prices, which I believe is like $55 million for T-Law, Jordan Love?
The going rate. That's the going rate. I mean, that's the going rate. What else do you do? You don't pay Kittle this and say we're going to rebuild.
Well, now they have no options, right? Can they get Aaron Rodgers? Is he? Well,
they got Mac. They got Mac, right? They got Mac Daddy. Well, they got Mac Jones.
True.
They didn't draft anybody. They got Mac Daddy. They got to do that 4-year deal, Mox. 4-year deal for JRich Kittle.
476, yeah.
Yeah, 476.
Signed through 2029.
All right, we had some more signings, JRich. Are you nervous about your Omarion Hampton shares now that you know it's J.K. Dobbins time in LAC? Dobbins is back, JRich. J.K. Dobbins.
Well,
kind of, right?
We will see. So the Chargers applied an unrestricted free agent tender, which I've never heard of. Apparently, this was also used on Elijah Moore. And basically what this means, my understanding of it at least,
your understanding of it,
if he signs with a team before training camp, it will count against the compensatory formula. So for everyone who knows how kind of that whole thing works, free agency coaches, as they move teams, you get draft picks that are rewarded based off how much you lose and how much money they're signed for. So Dobbins would count against the compensatory formula if he signs before training camp. If he doesn't sign before training camp, they have exclusive rights over him.
He doesn't need to sign. No one's signing his ass before training camp. Just chill, Dobbins. Just chill.
If they can't, they have exclusive negotiating rights with Dobbins. Yeah. At which point, like you're saying, he could be back.
He'll be back.
Isn't a good thing.
What do you think about
that
Dobbins, Najee, Hampton backfield?
Look, it's not good. Like, it's not necessarily a problem for Hampton because of the draft capital and he's super talented and all this and that, but like, it's not something where you want to be like, okay, this is fine. Like, we're not worried about this. Why are they even doing anything with J.K. Dobbins?
I don't know.
I thought they signed Najee to get rid of Dobbins, and they drafted Hampton
to get rid of Najee.
They weren't bringing
to get rid of Najee.
Yes, to get rid of Najee in a lot of ways. It's just, again, I'm sure it's just I mean, it makes sense for the compensatory formula thing.
Yes,
they can help get a better comp pick later on.
All seriousness,
but
yes.
It may potentially stop a team from signing him, because it's going to hurt them in the compensatory formula.
Brandon says it's rarely used because you have to pay the player a 10% bump on their previous season. That's why it's rarely used. Yep. Any interest in new Carolina Panthers wide receiver Hunter Renfro? JRich, Hunter Renfro is back in the NFL. Apparently, he had a disease or some illness, some health issue. They said like a week straight fever, weeks on end, 103-degree fever. He had dropped down to 150 pounds, looking like Tez Johnson out there. Now he's back up to 187. He's in Carolina. Do you? Good for him. Good for him working his way back, working through the 100%. Medical issues. Great for him. Any interest in Hunter Renfro in Carolina, which it feels like the Panthers are just assembling anyone that can catch a ball and say, we're going to get into camp and figure out who our 3 wide receivers are going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I guess little interest, right? I think the thing with Renfro is you look at what Adam Thielen's already done with Bryce Young and say, why can't Hunter Renfro find some level of success doing the same thing? I think that's the biggest thing with Bryce is that he hasn't had weapons, and while Hunter Renfro doesn't sound sexy, if he's a player who can move the chains and give you 50 receptions in a season and just kind of help out that offense be a little bit more productive overall, that's going to just help the entire team, right? They may score more points. They may have more offensive drives. They may get more yards on a per-play basis. Like, he's not a big difference maker, but he is a player that can help a team just be slightly more efficient than they were. Because, again, Ray, who else is playing in this spot? Like, there's nobody. There's nobody to really play in that spot as like the wide receiver 4 on this team.
Yes.
And
we got David Moore.
Misses time.
David Moore.
David Moore. How many years have we been talking about David Moore? How old is David Moore is the real question. I remember him back in Seattle.
Yeah.
And we're talking about him in Carolina now.
I get it.
But yeah.
Yes.
I think he can help the offense and help Bryce Young, which is really what we're hoping for.
Well, we're going to talk about Bryce Young here in a second because this whole show is going to be a lot of would you rather, talking about some of the landing spots for the offensive players that we didn't get a chance to discuss on Monday. We spent a lot of time talking about Shedeur and Travis Hunter, but we're going to talk about some of these guys more in depth as we go through the show. But the last big piece of news on the other side of medical successes, and we're praising Hunter Renfro, and good for him getting back on the field. Unfortunate injury out of the association, one of the best players that we've seen through this era. Tore his Achilles tendon, man. Damian Lillard, done. JRich, Achilles tendon torn
out
in his series versus the Tyrese Halliburton-led Pacers, who have disposed of the Bucks quickly. That series is over. Giannis isn't happy. But Dame time, man. Torn Achilles tendon for Lillard, 35 years old, man. What are your thoughts here? Lillard going down. We saw Kyrie go down. This is tough for the Bucks, man. Is this team going to break up quickly, Jay? Are they going to break up? Is this it for the Milwaukee Bucks that won the title a couple of years ago?
Yeah, absolutely. If I was Giannis, I'd ask out. Lillard's not going to be available next season. It's just crazy that he got a serious injury 2 years in a row on the same day.
Yeah, man.
Against the same team.
That's wild.
Like, that is madness.
That's wild.
So it sucks for Dame. Hopefully he can come back and do something. But again, he's old, right? Like, we saw Kevin Durant come back from it. I don't think he was quite this old when it happened to him, but he was definitely getting older. Like, Dame will be back probably, but it's hard to project him into next season because of how late in the year he tore his Achilles.
Just, you know, we like all sports here. JRich and I both watch baseball. JRich, a much bigger MLB fan than I. He watches NHL. I like NBA, WNBA. So just on the relevant, big sort of news topics, we hit on that at the top of the show. We're going to talk mostly football, but we do hit on that. Prayers up for Dame Lillard, and I agree with you, man. That iteration of the Bucks team is a wrap. But you know what? Giannis bought the city a championship. They got it done a couple of years ago. He delivered a title to Milwaukee, but I do agree with you. I think it is it's over. It might be over for my Lakers too. Good Lord. Might be over for them Lakers.
Oh, I didn't know we were going to talk about. I didn't want to bring up the Lakers.
I don't want to bring it up either.
Are they up tonight? Is it done tonight?
It might be over tonight. It could very well be over. Could very well be over for my Los Angeles Lakers tonight. And yeah, Dame first ballot Hall of Famer for sure. I mean, you know,
first ballot? Is he that
Hall
good?
of Fame is different, man. Basketball Hall of Fame, as long as just about
everybody. Because he's got no title, right?
No, he doesn't have a title, but he's top 5 in NBA history in 3 points made. He'll be a Hall of Famer, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Jay, a lot of players that we didn't get a chance to discuss from the NFL draft, and there's a lot of conversation around, you know, these guys right now, fantasy football, NFL, people trying to figure out where they're going to land. I had a comment on YouTube this morning that said Trayvon Henderson is the guaranteed next version of Christian McCaffrey, and Kyle Williams is the next version of Tyreek Hill. Bookmark it. Their culture guy. I mean, there is enthusiasm out the wazoo right now for a lot of these young rookies. So what we're going to do today, play a little game. Our favorite, we need a little would you rather music, theme music. Not right now because it'd be on for the whole damn show. But we're going to play some would you rather. Talk about the player, talk about their fit, and then we'll kind of compare who would you rather have, that young rookie or veteran or other rookies. So let's start off, Jay. Where do we want to go and start with the hype? I think we got to start high. Let's start high. I don't want to start low. I want to start high, sky high. R.J. Harvey. Jordan Richards, R.J. Harvey, drafted by the Denver Broncos in the 2nd round. Listen, if you've been watching and reading over the past couple of days, this absolutely seems like somebody that the Broncos were honed in on for a large majority of this process. We got a chance to see him, meet him, talk to him, watch his skill set. Know he's fast, know he's explosive. He can do all this stuff. Little something unknown about R.J. Harvey for people always clamoring about the age. You know what position he was coming out of high school when he was recruited to go play Power 5 ball, Jay?
I won't spoil it, but I do know.
He was a quarterback, right? So he comes out of high school as a 5'8" quarterback, goes to Virginia. Virginia Tech is one of Virginia schools quarterback. He transitions to running back. They say, you're too damn short. Can't do this. You're not going to play quarterback, right? You need to find somewhere else. So he spent like the first 2.5 years transitioning from quarterback to running back. Then he shreds his ACL. So he kind of wasted the first 2 years of college, right? First 2.5 years of college. Once he made it back from the ACL tear, 800 something yards, and then the explosion this final season. So my question to you, Jay, is do you like the landing spot and do you like the player?
Yeah, the landing spot's great. He projects as the RB1 for the team. We know that Sean Payton loves to use his running backs, use them in a multitude of ways. You even just look back to Javonte Williams last season. 70 targets. Why did he have 70 targets? We don't know because he didn't do a whole lot with them. But I think that if Harvey was his guy, which it seems like it based off where they drafted him, I believe it was 60th overall in the second round, all things indicate towards Harvey having an immediate impact for this team. And I think especially paired with a quarterback in Bo Nix that isn't afraid to dump it off and get the ball out of his hands quickly behind that great offensive line, a lot of things are pointing up for R.J. Harvey right now.
All right, Jay. So you are you're building your roster out. I have to ask you, would you rather R.J. Harvey in Denver as the second-round pick, passing down back for Sean Payton, who targets the running backs quite often? Would you rather R.J. Harvey or Cincinnati Bengals running back Chase Brown, who also did not receive much competition in the draft? They took Taj Brooks a little bit later in the draft, but Chase Brown looks to be back as the guy in Cincinnati. And let's not forget, he was a 5th-round pick himself, suffered an ankle injury towards the end of the season, was splitting time with Zach Moss to start the year. Would you rather R.J. Harvey or Chase Brown?
This one is really tough because
I know it's tough.
I think the answer is Chase Brown. You know I'm really high on Chase Brown. We did our RB ranks on Bleacher Report. I was ranking him very, very high. I just think there's a world where you could see him have an extremely high ceiling in this Cincinnati offense. We saw how good they had to be last year just to be competitive in football games. And that's when they're playing from behind a lot, Ray. If that defense even gets a little bit better this season, they may be more balanced overall and not have to throw as much. And I think that only benefits a player like Chase Brown. And so that's where, for me, I love R.J. Harvey and his landing spot, but I see a world where maybe it's a little bit too overhyped, and you know how good Chase Brown already is. And so I'm just going to take what I believe Chase Brown can be, which is a top probably 7 or 8 running back in the league, especially for this season. And then I'll see what happens from there, because I think Chase Brown's going to have a great year this year, and I'm going to take Chase Brown in that Bengals offense.
All right. I have one R.J. Harvey. Give me the contract re-roll for R.J. Harvey. That was JR Enterprise. Jag Twig. Man, I love Harvey, but it's Chase Brown by a ton. Got another one. Bengals didn't start winning until he took over. Chase Brown. Fly, Eagles fly in the building. And then GMGP from Doak Walker, finally on a work break. I got MV Prof in the building. Still no way we take Harvey over Caleb in Dynasty, especially after what Tomlin said. R.J. Harvey has literally done nothing. Well, what has Trayvon Henderson done? What has Omarion Hampton done? What has Caleb Johnson done? What has Quinshon Judkins done? None of them have done a damn thing. Like, we know that, right? You got to pick one to do something. Which one are you picking to do the thing that they have not yet done yet? That's the thing. We all love
Who are you taking, Ray? You always ask me these questions, and when I turn it back on you, you don't know what to say.
Chase Brown.
You don't like
now,
Chase Brown
maybe.
as much as I do.
I mean, I like Chase Brown. I don't. Yeah, Chase Brown. I'll take Chase Brown. Chase Brown. All right.
Okay.
Here it is. We see. We're already starting off. We love.
Now
Trent
we're talking.
Richardson. I guarantee you, whoever's behind this account wasn't even playing fantasy football when Trent Richardson was drafted. Guarantee. Could guarantee you wasn't playing any fantasy football. And Trent Richardson had a good rookie year, which a lot of fantasy analysts were pumping up going into year 2, and he just flamed out after his first year. He damn near had 1,000 rushing yards in his rookie year. All right, let's go to the next running back, and we are going to revisit R.J. Harvey, but it was just, he hadn't done anything, right? He hadn't done anything, but Trayvon Henderson has. So we're going to go to your boy. Let's go to Big Hendo. Trayvon Henderson, your new running back for the New England Patriots, JRich. A lot of people excited about Hendo. So we've got Trayvon Henderson, his landing spot. Quickly, thoughts on it. And there was a comment where I believe, let me see what it says. Cormac Mack, any concerns with the Patriots GM calling Trayvon Henderson a complimentary piece? to the offense. So, how you like the fit? How do you like the player? And then I'm going to give you somebody he's going to go up against.
I love the player. I like the fit, and I'm fine with him being a complimentary piece because all he did was get hurt in college when they gave him too much work. So I think he should be a complimentary piece. You're going to get the most out of him. But with that, honestly, you probably get the best version of Trayvon Henderson as well.
All right.
I know a lot of people look at him and don't really see this massive ceiling, but he can definitely achieve that if he's just a complimentary piece in this offense.
All right. Chase, would you rather have Trayvon Henderson or Chase Brown?
I would probably rather have Chase Brown.
You sure you want to stop there?
I'm fine with, yeah.
Nothing else?
Chase
Okay.
Brown.
Chase Brown over Henderson. And then let me give you one more higher end range. Would you rather have Trayvon Henderson or Bucky Irving?
I will happily take Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving is like probably a top 6 or 7 running back in the league right now. And I don't even think we've seen what his ceiling is quite yet. So I love Henderson, and especially when I compare him to some of the other rookies and where they landed. But in some ways, you should just take the production of what you're going to get from Bucky. And I do think Bucky's a great player and in a great offense. Ray, do you have any concerns about what this offense could be this season? Because we are once again losing the OC for the Bucs. And how do you feel about Bucky going into this year as what we expect to be the feature back in Tampa?
Love it. I've got no concerns. It's Baker Mayfield's running the show. This is the same offense they trotted out last year, and they've added another big-time player in Emeka Egbuka. Bucky, Rashad, all those guys. I feel good about Tampa Bay's offense. I think they're still going to deliver the same way in the same fashion that they did last year. I trust Baker. He's on his 15th straight different offensive coordinator. Baker's going to figure it out. So one more time for the people in the chat. Bucky Irving or Bucky by a hair. By a hair. He's by a hair over here. By a hair. Chase on a better offense. Judkins Hendo. Bucky has momentum. Bucky all day. So there it is. So most people are saying Bucky over Henderson. Even though it's close, we've got Bucky over Henderson. Okay, let's move on to the quarterback position, JRich. You're gonna have some fun here. You're gonna have some fun here at the QBs because there are 2 QBs that are, you don't know how people quite feel about them. Not quite great, but we'll see. Let's start off with want to go with your Saints quarterback, your new Saints quarterback, Jay?
Sure, if you want to. Yeah, we can talk about Tyler Shuck.
Let's talk about old Shuck. Let's talk about Tyler Shuck. Talk about the landing spot in New Orleans, Jay. Where they took him, landing spot in New Orleans.
Yeah, 40th overall, 2nd round, Tyler Shuck out of Louisville. Ray, I do need your thoughts a little bit because you were speaking
I just asked you your thoughts first.
Hold on, let me get through it. Because you were speaking poetic about RJ Harvey and how he's a converted quarterback and then he tore his ACL, so we shouldn't be concerned about him because he's still learning the running back position. But Tyler Shuck, Ray, 3 season-ending injuries in college, backed up Justin Herbert in 2019 at Oregon. He is an experienced quarterback. A lot of scouts like him. He's 6'5". He's got a great arm. He's a prototypical quarterback. And if Kellen Moore likes him, I think we should be slightly interested. And one of the reasons why we should be slightly interested, because Derek Carr is very hurt, it seems. And Nick Underhill, my favorite beat reporter, said that he believes Tyler Shuck could be the starter week 1, Ray. So there is a lot of situations outside of Cam Ward where Tyler Shuck may be the only other rookie quarterback to start opening week in the NFL for a team, which is big because when you talk about value and how you value a player, a rookie starting week 1 is a big deal. Whether he plays well or not is another situation, but it's a big deal when you talk about his value. So I think Tyler Shuck is very interesting if that were to happen. A lot of people don't like him, but I would be taking some shots on old Tyler Shuck.
So, JRich, would you rather have New Orleans Saints potential starting quarterback Tyler Shuck or Indianapolis Colts potential starting quarterback Anthony Richardson? Which one would you rather have right now, Tyler Shuck or Anthony Richardson?
This one is difficult because JRich, in my opinion, Ray, actually has less of a shot of starting today than Tyler Shuck does as the opening week. And that for me is kind of the tiebreaker. And so I'm going to lean slightly Tyler Shuck. I'm going to lean on the unknown versus the known. Now, Anthony Richardson can improve, and, week 1, we may completely flip our how we view the situation. Right. But If you believe, and I do believe
This
that
one is
Tyler Shuck
tough.
has a better chance of starting opening week for the Saints, I'm going to bank on that happening. And if Daniel Jones starts for Anthony Richardson, then you don't see him playing and he becomes slightly more irrelevant than he was today. So I think the answer is Tyler Shuck. I think it sounds crazy because people don't like him. But if Kellen Moore pumps him up, if the offense gets a bit of juice throughout the offseason and he actually is the starter, you probably get a little bit more value out of that week one if you wanted to move on because you just don't believe in the talent.
This one's interesting, man. I expected to see a little more Shuck. We got Jorge from Rhode Island in the building. He says A-Rich. Jay Jackson says Sheesh. D-Law from 3D says A-Rich. Jeff said A-Rich. I'm still a Rattler believer. So Jeff is like,
yeah,
I don't even know if Shuck is better than Rattler, right? Timothy Beard said it's Shuck. I'm out on A-Rich. So Tim's like, y'all can have Anthony Richardson. I'm out. I'll take the unknown black box guy. I'll take the new quarterback that was drafted by the new head coach in new regime in New Orleans. Garrison, A-Rich for me. It's Chuck-a-Baby, A-Rich. Such a disappointment. He was the next Josh Allen coming out. A-Rich with an OC. A-Rich easy. Jeff, A-Rich with Tyler Warren and a fire under his ass. So, yeah, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I get it, right? People want that crazy talent that if A-Rich put it all together, right? Like the same every year with Justin Fields, the same thing. Where are we going to get there? Like it's crazy, man. I don't know. It just, at some point you have to just kind of call it. And I'm not ready to call it on A-Rich quite yet, but I just think that Tyler Shuck is probably going to be the starter. And that for me is enough. Like that for me is enough.
Who is this? You owe me $1,400. Get this dude out of the chat. Who are you? You owe me $1,400. Where's my money at? Yup. Madam, remember Waza? Get him up out of here, JRich. Give me my money. No offense to Tyler Shuck, but still can't understand why the Saints passed on Sanders and drafted this guy. Jay, that's a different story for another day. We could dive into all that
in the chat?
Another day. Let's go on to the next Would You Rather segment, and we're going to stick with the QBs, JRich. We're going to stick with the quarterbacks, and maybe people feel a little better about this guy. Jaxson Dart, first-round quarterback, New York Giants. They said that this was their guy all along, Jordan. They said, this is our guy all along, Jaxson Dart. Dayball finally gets to pick his quarterback, goes to the former USC Trojan, Ole Miss Rebel Jaxson Dart, throwing the ball to Malik Neighbors, Wan'Dale Robinson. Just now that the dust has settled, we're about a week after it's happened. How you feeling about Dart today, JRich?
As good as I did on draft day. It was a great pick. It was the one that I thought was going to happen. Again, I wasn't really sure where it was going to happen, but I thought that the Giants were going to target Jaxson Dart. I love the fit. I love that he already has Malik Neighbors. I think they can add to this offense. My only fear, honestly, is that they fire Daboll and they bring in someone that I don't believe in to help develop him as a passer. Because I think he is a bit raw and he has some things to learn. And he doesn't need to start right away, which is great. But again, like it's tough because I do think if they have the time to kind of like figure it out, like 2 years to develop him and turn him into a starter, he could be pretty good. But Daboll doesn't have that time right now. So it's tough to value him because I value him much more with Daboll than without, or at least the unknown fear of it being like a defensive head coach. So I think he's in a good spot today, and hopefully it stays that way.
Dark Side, you know I love you, man. Dark said Dart won't play one down of football next year. I don't think you could be talking very much right now. You ridiculed the chat for weeks that we were going to look stupid when Sanders was picked inside the top 3, and then we didn't find you all on Monday. So I don't think you could say anything about Jaxson Dart right now, Mr. Dev. But Jay, would you rather Jaxson Dart, or your boy, Canales is going to fix here in year 3, Bryce Young? Which quarterback would you rather have right now, Jaxson Dart or Carolina Panthers starting quarterback Bryce Young?
I think the answer has to be Bryce Young. We saw the development just over the course of his second season. We thought Canales wasn't going to turn it around, but they really did turn that offense around. They're going to have a good running game this year. Hopefully McMillan can improve that passing attack. Again, still a lot of concerns about the defense, but I think for now it's Bryce Young. And part of the reason why is because Jaxson Dart may not play till like week 10, week 11 of the season at least. because they're probably going to start Russell Wilson, maybe some Jameis Winston, and then at some point down the line, they'll probably turn over the reins to Jaxson Dart. So without more news kind of indicating that Dart could start a little bit earlier, I think the answer has to be Bryce Young, because I think this offense will ascend throughout the season.
We've got fighting in the chat. It is split decision here. Cade Murphy, Bryce. We've got Luke, Dart. Give me Dart. Tim says give me Dart. Jimbo says Bryce. The kid G Money says Bryce by a mile. And then my girl Joe, first person to comment in, she's like, Dart. Give me Jaxson Dart over Bryce Young. Joe says, what if Dart finishes strong? His value skyrockets. Bryce Young.
100%.
Bryce Young, but both QB2s to QB3s. Bryce, I'm still a young truther. This one, I expected more people to be on the Dart side, to be honest with you. I thought more people would gravitate towards Jaxson Dart, but there's a lot of love for Patrick says Dart. Patrick says Dart. Last chance, Jay. Yeah. What you got, Young or Dart?
I'm taking Young still, and I think what people are kind of getting at that I didn't really touch on as much is that if Bryce Young is good, I don't think his value moves a lot. Like, he'd have to be really good because people have already seen him stink, right? Versus if Dart is like decent and looks okay, I think his value can actually go up quite a bit, because then you can get into the, well, like Joe was kind of saying, he ends the season strong-ish. Like, we literally said these things about Zach Wilson. Remember that?
I know.
When Zach Wilson had a hot December, and we're like, oh man, year two,
Bryce
Bryce
did finish strong, right? Like,
Bryce Young has been benched twice and looked good for half of a second season, okay?
But let's not get out over our skis here. But you're saying you'll take Bryce.
I will take Bryce Young because I think that he's going to be good enough, and I think the talent will continue to improve, but I'm not necessarily playing the value game here. If you want to play the value game, maybe you take Jaxson Dart, but I'm taking what I think is going to happen for Bryce Young, and I don't know what's going to happen for Jaxson Dart.
This is an interesting one, man. The chat is all over the place. But
Jaxson Dart is a great value. Like, it's not like he's overpriced. Like, he's cheap right now. If you could draft him, I'd be drafting him all day because he's super cheap.
Jaxson Dart or Brock Purdy?
I mean, Brock Purdy pretty easily. If I'm taking Bryce Young over Jaxson Dart, I'm definitely taking Brock Purdy.
Bryce Young or Brock Purdy?
Oh, Brock Purdy. Just better offense.
Bonus one. Offense. Cam Ward or T-Law?
This is a bonus one.
Yeah, bonus.
I really want to put your feet to the fire on this one, because I got a lot of names on this list.
Cam Ward.
I got a lot of names on this list.
Cam Ward
and I know
Trevor
you
Lawrence.
ain't taking him. I'm taking Trevor Lawrence all day. It's not even close. It's not even close. I don't care if Cam Ward was first overall pick. Well, Trevor Lawrence also first overall pick.
They both were the first overall pick.
People think Trevor Lawrence stinks. They think he stinks, Ray. He's got Liam Cohen. He's got Travis Hunter. He's got Brian Thomas Jr. He's got 3 capable running backs. What more does the guy need? He's going to be fine. He's going to probably put up 4,000 yards, 25 to 30 touchdowns. He's going to be good. We can't say that about Cam Ward. We don't know what Cam Ward's going to be. And honestly, Ray, I do not believe in Brian Callahan right now. This draft gave me absolutely no confidence they know what they're doing. I think that he had a decent start with bad quarterback play, but
everybody, universal T-Law.
You got to take T-Law.
Universal T-Law. Universal.
All right, Ray, let's go down the list, because I got a list for you.
Okay.
And you're going to answer all of them.
So
T-Law was number 1 on the list.
All right.
You're going to give me them all.
Okay, let's go.
Cam Ward or Jordan Love?
Love.
Cam Ward or Kyler Murray?
Kyler.
Cam Ward or Brock Purdy?
Purdy.
Cam Ward or JJ McCarthy?
JJ.
Cam Ward or your boy Baker Mayfield?
Baker Mayfield. Come on, man.
Cam Ward or Michael Penix?
Penix.
Cam Ward or Jared Goff?
Goff.
Cam Ward or Dak Prescott?
Easy Dak.
And last but not least, going over all the players that are rated below Cam Ward on KTC.
Okay.
Bryce Young.
Cam Ward.
Okay.
I'll take
so
Cam
you're just
over
taking
Bryce.
You're taking the unknown over the failed but ascending quarterback.
You love saying he's failed when he hasn't failed yet. He has not failed yet.
He has failed. Like, you can't say that he has failed. He has fallen on his face, but he did get up, and I'm very proud of him for that. But we have seen him fail, and we have seen him bench twice. Let's be honest.
Oh boy, I got to put the comment up. Listen, Dark Side is here every day. Dark Side shows up, except for the Monday after the draft. Says Shedeur not going top 3 is more about white supremacy than Shedeur's skills. Listen,
Ray, let me just tell you.
Listen. There are definitely some things that happen throughout that process that seem a little fishy to me, but I don't know if I can go there. I don't know if I can take it that far.
So
listen, we talk about whatever on the show. We love them. I can't go that far.
A black QB just went 101, the first pick, and we're talking about race. Like, what?
Listen,
dude,
there are.
Come on.
I do think, and I'm just going to tell you what Shedeur has said. What he said out of his mouth from him, not his. There's some things that I did throughout this process that I should not have done. I mean, he said, I'm paraphrasing here, but he has come out to say there's some things that happened along the way that probably were misguided. If I can go back and do it again, I would. I think he's understood, like, he was feeling himself, right? I mean, there's interviews, man. We ain't talking to them. We're going to New York. We're headed to Las Vegas.
They talked about it at the combine
interview. They overplayed their hand, man. Like, and I'm the biggest.
100%.
They overplayed their hand. They were confident that they had it. They overplayed their hand, and they flipped the cards over, and it was like, oh, shit, I ain't got nothing. You know, there's nothing there. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
But Dark Side, it's all good. And so I listen, you're our boy, baby. I'm still here. I'm still in the, and you see what's interesting about this, Greg Newsom on stage, all of Cleveland is like backing Sanders. I mean, it is the ADV for him. He's going to play,
it's
man.
It's so annoying, man. It's so annoying.
Right.
Everyone's like, oh, yeah, I got to back that Sanders because we got him now. No one cares about Dylan Gabriel. If I was Dylan Gabriel, I would demand a trade.
Gabriel, man. No one cares about Gabriel.
He needs to be traded. It's crazy.
All right, Jay. Let's go some more would you rathers. Let's get some big time players in here. Let's get some big time players in here. The number 2 overall pick in the draft, JRich, Travis Hunter. Gonna play a lot of wide receiver. Look at Gladstone back there, just smiling, happy. Hunter, just charismatic, and I like these draft hats too. I need to get a Cowboy. These draft hats are dope. Travis Hunter, JRich, we've talked about his situation. We've talked about his landing spot. Would you rather Travis Hunter right now or Drake London from the Atlanta Falcons? Travis Hunter or Drake London? Which would you rather have?
I'm going to take Drake London. 150 targets, 1,400 yards, Ray, 10 touchdowns. Don't hold me to that, though.
Okay. Travis Hunter or Ladd McConkey?
It just has to be Ladd. There's no other answer but Ladd McConkey. He's the best receiver in the NFL.
Wait a minute. So you're taking London over Hunter. You're taking Ladd over Hunter.
Yes.
Garrett Wilson or Travis Hunter?
I'm going to take Travis Hunter because I'm betting on the offense, I'm betting on the quarterback, and I am betting on Travis Hunter. But the other two, very high target volume. I'd say very safe floors. I understand betting on Hunter if you want to, but I will bet on the previous two. But I will bet on Travis Hunter over Garrett Wilson and his quarterback currently, Justin Fields, because that is a scary situation.
Jordan,
and I will say, Ray, I will say that other name on that list, I would take him over him.
Oh no, let me say, I didn't bring. You would take the other name on the list over Hunter. I think a lot of people would. Or
I think
Hunter.
I would take Hunter.
Oh,
I think this is interesting. Let me get a photo
for this player. Let me get a photo for this player. Talk about why you would take him over the player I'm about to put up.
I love this player. Mm-hmm. He's a phenomenal wide receiver.
He's a phenomenal wide receiver.
But I am definitely a little bit weary of this offense.
Okay,
hold on. This offense has been not the most productive.
Okay.
It's very efficient. but they do have an extremely strong rushing attack.
Extremely strong.
And, Ray, we've never talked about this. They, once again, have lost their offensive coordinator.
Okay.
And we've seen this happen before, where this offense really sputtered.
Let me get the player up. You're
giving
too many hope. You're giving too many hints. Would you rather, people in the chat, people watching after the show, Travis Hunter or A.J. Brown?
I'm going to bet on the ceiling of Travis Hunter over A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown has a great ceiling, but it's not a high volume one. So it's predicated on touchdowns and efficiency, which the Eagles can be very efficient and can score a lot of touchdowns. But we've also seen a situation where they hire the wrong offensive coordinator and the offense really struggles. And so because of that, I'm willing to bet on Liam Cohen because I think he's a phenomenal play caller. I love A.J. Brown. I've loved A.J. Brown forever. But I would be willing to bet on Travis Hunter if it was the right situation. I would be wanting to bet on Travis Hunter.
Jimbo, don't say y'all. Don't say. I didn't even have the photo pulled up. Jimbo said y'all gotta chill. JRich, the people hear A.J. Brown's name, right? They hear A.J. Brown. They're not worried about no volume in that offense, Jay. It's A.J. Brown. That is swole Batman, and you're taking Travis Hunter over A.J. Brown?
Because it's just like, the problem with A.J. Brown is that everything that people want him to be, he's just not. And it's not his fault. That's the worst part. Like, he is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, but he is not utilized at the same level of other top receivers in the NFL. So that's where it's like, you have to actually look at the situation.
Ooh, Joe's with you.
Are we really going to bet on him again in what could be another year of, well, how do the Eagles kind of pull it together? Can they make this work in the final stretch of the season? What?
Here's JRich's burner. Joe's on your side today. Joe is backing JRich 100% today. And then, of course, Swim. JRich's burner is it. I've never seen an account agree with JRich more than this one right here. Whoever Swim is, this is JRich's burner account. But there's a lot of Hunter. JRich, there's a lot of Hunter in here, man.
No, see, I know Adam's mad because I'm sleeping on his Eagles. I love the Eagles, and Adam is one of the people that remembers back in like October or November when I was like, "Yo, the Eagles are gonna go on a run here." But you're
taking Ladd over A.J. Brown. People want to know. Eddie wants to know. So you're taking Ladd over AJ?
Yes, I'm taking Ladd over A.J. Brown, 100%, 100%. And it's not because I don't think he's a talented receiver. Like, he is a player that should be in the tier 1 of whatever your wide receiver tiers are because he's that talented. But he's not utilized like those top receivers. And that's why you can't quite put him in that spot. And it's why people talk about, is he really still a top guy? So that's just where I'm at. But I'd be willing to bet on Hunter because, Ray, like we always talk about it, if Hunter hits, like he's going in that Jamar Chase tier. Like, it's probably going to happen. And that's where I'm just at. But yeah, I mean, Swim knows.
Swim said, what can I say? JRich knows ball. Moggs is on your side. JRich be killing me, but he's got points today. Logan asked this question. Shout out to Logan. What's Hunter's over-under receiving yards for the season? I'll tell you right now. I know what Prize Picks has him at.
I doubt they have a number.
Prize Picks has got him up. It's something, right? It's better than me guessing 625 yards. 625
DraftKings is minus 120 to 700.
700
so he's probably at 750 or 725. Ray, what do you think about that number? You think he smashes that number, don't you?
I think it's kind of low. Like, based on, I think it's a little low. Or 725. I think 725 was on Prize Picks, not 625. More receiver, would you rather? JRich, more wide receiver, would you rather? And we're going to go with the second wide receiver off the board, Tedrone McMillan. T-Mac, Carolina Panthers' new big play wide receiver for Bryce Young. Thoughts on the fit? You aren't the biggest Tet in Carolina fan. You're not the biggest Tet fan in Carolina. You've kind of said this throughout the entire process. But can I interest you in Tet McMillan, or would you rather have this big play wide receiver from Cincinnati, T. Higgins, Tedrone McMillan, or T. Higgins in Cincinnati?
Oh, I will happily take T. Higgins, and it's not really that close.
Really?
Yes. I think we know what T. Higgins is. He's probably 1,000-yard, 8-touchdown receiver, and I'll take that pretty easily over whatever Tet ends up being. Sorry, T-Mac.
McMillan
How
or
do you
Rashee
feel about
Rice?
T versus
McMillan or Rashee Rice?
Rashee Rice?
McMillan or Rome Odunze?
You know my love of Rome Odunze. It's easily Rome Odunze.
McMillan or Smitty? Devontae Smith?
This one's tougher because I do like Smitty, but if I'm going to poo-poo on the Eagles offense, I have to poo-poo on Smitty as well, so I will take McMillan.
McMillan or Garrett Wilson?
This one's tough.
McMillan or Garrett Wilson?
Tough. I want to say Garrett Wilson, but I feel like I'm just hating for the sake of hating's sake when I take Garrett Wilson over McMillan. But I just think they're going to be the same type of player. Like, if Garrett Wilson can get the targets, which I believe he can, I think he can be better than McMillan. But I'll take McMillan. Ray, can I get your pulse on the community about McMillan? Like, how do they really feel about him? Like, do you think that if he has, an 800-yard season, he's going to, skyrocket in value? I just don't know where he goes from here. Like, is he going to be this? Is he going to go up a lot, though? Do people like him like that?
So.
I feel like people don't really like him like that.
If he shows to be Bryce Young's primary target and he assumes he does some of that stuff that Adam Thielen did, I think he will go up quite a bit. That's my thought. I think he will go up. I don't think his ceiling is capped. I don't know how.
That's the part I'm trying to figure out is because when you start going down the list, it's not like there's a lot of room. Because you want me to give you the list ahead of him?
Sure.
So ahead of him, A.J. Brown.
I could see a world where McMillan does very well and A.J. Brown, just the age people in Dynasty are like, give me the ascending second-year player.
Then the aforementioned Garrett Wilson, how do you feel about him versus Garrett Wilson?
Sure.
I think they're going to do similar things.
Sure. I could see him going above him if he's great. Yes.
Okay, now it gets tough. Travis Hunter.
If Hunter's good and McMillan is good, they're not close to one another now.
No. Marvin Harrison Jr.
There's a chance.
But if Marv is good, and
if Marv is good, people would be like,
this
is who I think people would still prefer Marv over McMillan.
And then the only other name that maybe is in contention is Jaxson Smith-Njigba. Because above that is just straight studs. It's London, McConkey, Nico, and obviously it gets better and better from there.
Jordan Red has been begging for that old GQ 2026 Devy talk. Listen, man, I couldn't for the life of me name 12 players that could potentially be in next year's class. I couldn't name 12. I kid you not.
Talk to me about Lenora Sellers. Because that man and his goggles just make me laugh.
He's an incredible athlete. He's He's got all these physical tools. SEC guy. He's not transferred around. He stayed in South Carolina. He's got a shot. Lenora Sellers has a chance, but it's just, dude, playing that game this far out is a pointless exercise. If you just go look at the post-2025, way too early mock drafts, they're all terrible, man. They're all
Did you see what Matt Miller said on Twitter?
What'd he say?
Matt Miller was like, for anyone who's looking for this analysis, you will not find Arch Manning in any mock, and I will not be scouting him this season at all because he doesn't expect him to be in the draft.
Tony
He's like,
wants
anyone
me to
who
name
puts
11. Tony wants me to name 11. Okay, in 26.
Ooh, could you do it?
Garrett Nussmeier.
Yes.
Cade Klubnik. Drew Alar.
Yeah.
Lenora
Sellers.
Oh, my
God.
Straight quarterbacks. Lenora Sellers, that's 4. Jeremiah Love is 5.
Okay. You got 2 running backs out of Penn State?
Yep. Katron and Singleton, and Katron ain't going to be there. He's not no damn top guy. So Katron and Singleton.
There's a QB at UCLA that might be.
Aiden Childs. There we go. Aiden Childs.
Where is he from? Is he
Michigan State? He's at Michigan State now. Aiden Childs, that's 8. Jacoby Lane, wide receiver out of USC, 9.
You should name it USC, guys.
Ohio State running back. He came from USC. Quentin Joyner came from USC, 10. Carnell Tate, 11. There we go. I got 11.
Is Colorado's QB draft eligible? The one from Liberty, right?
Oh, Caden Salter? Yeah, sure, but I'm not banking on that. I'm not banking. We saw what happened with a Colorado QB that led the country in passing this year. I'm not betting on Caden Salter to get it done. Oh, there we go. Caleb Downs. All right. We need more Would You Rather. JRich. So we've done Travis Hunter. We've done Ted McMillan. Give me your thoughts on this pairing, because we have not talked about these two players, and they were drafted on the same team. Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins, both selected by the Houston Texans. So let's just start the would you rather off. DP saying Nick Anderson, who did absolutely nothing last year at Oklahoma. Jalen Noel or Jaden Higgins, which one would you rather have, JRich?
I would rather have Jalen Noel because I liked him more in the pre-draft process.
Okay. Even though Higgins was selected at the top of the second round.
Don't care. Never cared. Yeah, I understand it. That's where he's been pegged, to be higher than Noel, but I've always thought Noel was the better player. When I saw them both in person, one guy looked significantly better than the other, and the answer was Jalen Noel.
Jalen Noel or Josh Downs?
I will take Josh Downs.
Yes, you would. 100% you would. You'd take him over everybody on this list. You would take
him over everyone on this list.
You would take every name on this list over Higgins and Noel. Every single one of these names. So let me make
I would probably take every single player on this list over Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel.
I have Noel rated a little higher too, even though Higgins was drafted earlier. I just like him better. I just like him better. At least I'm being honest. At least I'm being honest. Go. I'll just say that where I thought he was, the Capitol, they were both day two guys. One was significantly higher than the other one. I'm just going to bet on the talent of Noel. I think Noel's a little better than Higgins.
I just don't want either one. Like, I really don't. I don't think that either one is a player that, to me, makes a lot of sense. But yeah, we'll give the people the list. Tyreek Hill, Chris Godwin, Jaden Reed, Khalil Shakur, Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman's maybe a name people would take Jaden Higgins over. Josh Downs, Michael Pittman, Devontae Adams, Cortland Sutton. Like, why is he in a range with those players at all?
Engineer said these guys have zero ball knowledge. Hey, point us to your YouTube channel, big dog, so we can go check out your content. Appreciate the subscription. All right, Jay, let's keep it moving. Let's talk through another wide receiver. And a lot of people seem to be coming around on the landing spot, even though at first they're like, why the hell would they do this? Emeka Egbuka in Tampa Bay. We have not gotten your thoughts. Egbuka is a player that you really like. You like this player.
Yes.
Lands in Tampa Bay. Dope offense. Baker Mayfield throwing the ball all around. 3-4 wide receiver set should be plentiful for Tampa Bay. Your thoughts on Egbuka's landing spot here in Tampa Bay?
It's a good landing spot. It's just a crowded room. And people who like Egbuka, or even if they don't like Egbuka, you have to figure out how much you'd be willing to spend to get him, because he's a first-round wide receiver, and that keeps his value kind of at a certain spot. And that's why, even going through a would you rather, you say, like, yeah, he's a first-round receiver, but, like, is he even going to play? Like, how is he going to play? Because when you have two superstar receivers already on the team and a Jalen McMillan that, yes, he was a third-rounder, but pretty damn good one and looked good in this offense, it's tough to know exactly where he slots in and what to even project for him. But at the same time, like, luxury pick or not, I trust that they have a plan for Egbuka, and it's going to work out. So I think it's interesting kind of how people value him, but I like the spot. It's a good quarterback, good offense. It's just a matter of how much he's going to play and when's he going to play.
And every selection isn't a selection for the immediate right now. When you look at Evans and his age, when you look at Godwin and think about his situation and the injury that he's recovering from, this could be a play for whatever we get out of Emeka this year is great, but we need to develop him to be on the field in a full-time major role moving forward after this season. And you never know what happens in season. And, Tampa Bay can't go through the same thing that happened last year when Godwin went down, when Evans was dealing with a hamstring injury, when he was dealing with injuries. And they were rolling out Raheem Jarrett. They're throwing Raheem Jarrett and all these other Devin Tompkins or whoever it is. They've got to make sure that Baker has weapons. I like the landing spot of Egbuka. So, JRich, would you rather Emeka Egbuka, and we'll start with this name because he's got a good situation this year too, Emeka Egbuka or Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Jordan Addison?
I will take Jordan Addison because I know what he is and I like his situation.
Emeka Egbuka or DJ Moore?
I will take DJ Moore.
Oh, no. Absolutely
really?
Not. No, sir, Bob.
But why?
DJ Moore was not good.
I know you think he sucks.
I didn't say he sucks, but he was not good to finish the season. He was not good. He was not good, fine. Jay. You look at this is why you need to come be a part of the Patreon so you can come learn something on Tuesday nights. we looked at DJ Moore. I mean, efficiency-wise, what he does, it's wide receiver screens, it's flare routes, it's out routes. I mean, he wasn't that good last year. He was not that good last year.
Yeah, the offense wasn't that good, right?
Who?
The offense, like the whole offense was not good last year.
Yeah, and he individually himself was not very good either. Would you rather have Emeka Egbuka or Zay Flowers?
I will take Egbuka over Zay Flowers. But you know I'm not the biggest Zay Flowers guy.
Egbuka or Waddle?
I'll take Waddle. Especially maybe Tyreek on the move. Woo.
DJ Moore?
Waddle could be looking up.
Where's all this DJ Moore love coming from?
What do you think Ibuka's going to do that puts him over DJ Moore? He's not going to have 1,000 yards this season. And he may not have 1,000 yards next season. And DJ Moore is probably going to be right close to that.
Ray wants a wide receiver 4 over a wide receiver 1. DJ, y'all are saying I'm drunk. Are y'all drunk or high on crack? DJ Moore? Are we seriously stumping and caping up for DJ Moore right now? This isn't DJ Moore from Carolina 3 years ago, 4 years. What are we really? Am I out of touch with ball, JRich? DJ Moore over Egbuka?
I mean, a little bit. Emeka Egbuka is rated higher than DJ Moore on KTC right now. Like, I think you don't realize how low people are on DJ Moore. But I think if I'm just betting on the production,
I'm low on him, but apparently the chat is high on him.
Like, do you want DJ Moore or Matthew Golden? Because that's who he's next to right now. All
right, here we go.
You know,
let's just get right to it. DJ Moore. Would you rather DJ Moore or Luther Burden?
I'm gonna take DJ Moore.
Who else? Who else?
I'm just gonna take
DJ Moore or Burden?
DJ Moore.
No, I'm going for I'm seeing what the chat. I'm seeing what the chat's saying. I'm seeing what the chat is saying. Luther Burden, 2nd round pick, or DJ Moore. See what the chat says. Rome will be wide receiver 1. Absolutely. I will go 10 toes down. The wide receiver 1 for the Chicago Bears in 2025 will be 2nd-year wide receiver Rome Odunze. Jason says LB3. Logan says Moore. Egbuka about 50 spots overvalued on under. Yeah, underdog's slow to move anyway. There's a lot of players under and overvalued on man. The DJ Moore love is
he's going
booming.
to be just fine. That's I think you're thinking he's going to be like an 800-yard, 700-yard guy.
I mean, he was damn near an 800-yard receiver this year.
Yeah, he had a down year. It wasn't his best season. It wasn't the offense's best season, and I think we all know that. But if we're caping up for Caleb like we do on this show every week because you can't help yourself, how are you just shitting all over DJ Moore? That's one of his primary pass catchers in this offense.
Y'all
so if you want Caleb to be good, and you think Caleb can be the first Chicago Bears 4,000-yard passer, DJ Moore will probably be a decent part of that.
Let's go back to Luther Burden. Jay. Luther Burden, in this next edition of Would You Rather, Luther Burden, the DJ Moore replacement in Chicago, playing with caped up Caleb, right? Did you say caping up for Caleb? Would you rather Luther Burden, JRich, or Ricky Pearsall in San Francisco?
This is tough. Like, this is actually really tough.
Or Ricky Pearsall?
Oh, Ray. I'm going to say Luther Burden, reluctantly.
Okay.
I don't know what to do with either of these guys. I really don't. Pearsall is a player that finished the year strong, but man, like, is he really going to be featured in this offense? Or is he not? Is Kyle Shanahan know what he's doing? Or does he not? Do you want to bet on Ben Johnson or Kyle Shanahan? It's tough, man. Like, it's tough. I don't know what to. Pearsall was one of the hardest players to like figure out what their value is this year. Really tough for me. Really tough.
Dude, JR Enterprise. See, this is what I'm saying.
Everyone's saying Pearsall, man.
Let's get here's JR Enterprise. JR Enterprise said, did you all hear what Ben Johnson said at his press conference? He said, we want our guys to run their routes full speed, whether the ball is coming to them or not. Dude, I don't know what y'all are smoking or what you're reading, but go watch DJ Moore and play wide receiver in 2024 and tell me that's a guy that's going to be number one for Ben Johnson. There's no way. This is the coach out of his own mouth saying, we want to, that is shade to the 10th power, man. We want our receivers to run their routes full speed, whether the ball is coming to them or not. Who do you think that's directed to? DeAndre Carter?
But if it's directed at DJ Moore,
to Velus Jones out there?
But why do you think that's a bad thing? If a coach is calling out a star player, which based off his contract, he would be considered a star player,
so this is a good
thing.
This is a good thing then. It's a good thing for the coach to say this.
Why is that a bad thing? How do you think that's not supporting my point? Because if he doesn't do that, then he's not going to be on the field, and we're going to know that right away. So if he gets his shit together, which clearly last year it wasn't, and he's right, and he's doing what he's supposed to do, he'll be just fine. I think he'll be fine.
Who did you pick, Burden or Pearsall?
I reluctantly picked Burden because I think people just like him.
Pearsall or
the only reason that.
Igbuka or Pearsall?
I would take Igbuka. But I like Igbuka a lot.
All right.
I may have to wait on him, but I'll wait on him.
Okay. Let's go to some running backs. Let's go to some fourth-round running backs. Can we go to some fourth-round running backs, JRich? And I saw some people in the chat talking about this running back right here. New Houston Texans running back, Woody Marks. Fourth-round pick. Texans traded up to get Woody Marks, and he is going to play in a nice complementary role with Joe Mixon. They were not good when they threw the ball to the running backs in 2024, so they had to go get a running back that caught 260-plus passes in college. That is his calling card. So, JRich, would you rather have, who's this? Woody Marks in, Woody Marks in Houston, Jay? I got to do a million things to make the show work. Or the backup or primary, however you want to call it, running back in Tampa Bay, Rachaad White. Woody Marks or Rachaad White, JRich?
Rachaad White stinks, so I will take Woody Marks. Thank you very much. Easily.
Why do you like Marks? We haven't heard your opinion on him in this fit in Houston.
I think that he's a great compliment to Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon can still catch passes and be in pass pro. It's probably be like a 60% running back. But the thing is that Marks can provide another weapon out of the backfield. We talked about Noel, we talked about Higgins, but Woody Marks may actually be the greatest benefit to CJ Stroud just as an outlet offensively, great at catching passes, very explosive, very quick to the line of scrimmage and through the hole, which I love, very explosive. So I just think that Marks adds an element to this offense that's hard to find offensively, and I think CJ Stroud's really going to like him. Rachaad White just seems like he's been replaced by Bucky Irving and
Jameson.
A whole lot.
Goodness, tell us how you feel. Rachaad is hot, steaming garbage. Wow.
You should have seen what Jameson said in the chat earlier. He said, I bet if DJ Moore was on Baltimore, Ray would love him.
Hey, get him out of here. Jameson's here every day. Get him out of here. Ban him from the chat. Hey, man.
Oh, that
stop.
was killing
Get
me,
out of
man.
here. So, Tony said DJ Moore or Woody Marks. Get the hell out of here, Tony.
Who are you taking, Ray? You taking your boy out of USC, or you taking the guy you hate more than anybody in the NFL? Yeah,
easy. It's easy, Woody Marks. Come on, man. That's an easy one. Woody Marks. Let's go with Liam Cohen's version of Bucky Irving. That's what everybody's saying, right? Michelle Tootin. Yeah. We've got Scootin' Tootin out of Virginia Tech. Tootin goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars, top of the fourth round. So, JRich, would you rather Tootin in Jacksonville or the player that apparently is getting replaced by Caleb Johnson's not even going to see the field? Pittsburgh Steelers running back Jaylen Warren. Tootin or Warren? Which would you rather have?
Man, this is tough. The answer is Warren, but Ray, what are we really doing in Pittsburgh? Is it going to be a lot of Warren, or is it going to be Caleb Johnson? Because Mike Tomlin was speaking very highly of Caleb Johnson and the way that he runs and how he ran in a lot of obviously stacked boxes and ran a lot of pro-style runs that he's going to do in the NFL and succeeded at it. Or do you just want to bet on Michelle Tootin being the guy that Liam Cohen elevates up to the starter like he did with Bucky Irving at the end of the season? Because that's what happened. Bucky Irving wasn't the first or second running back on the team. He was the third running back going into the offseason, and he ended the year as the starter. So there is a history of having a running back elevated in a system like this under Liam Cohen to being the starter. So part of me does want to take a shot on Tootin because if he hits in a much bigger way probably than Jaylen Warren, who also has to deal with Kenneth Gainwell now being there and the drafting of Caleb Johnson. Do you feel any differently about Warren and Tootin? Like, would you just take the shot on Tootin because of the upside being so high, but the downside being
I don't
very
know
low,
if it's so
especially in your
high.
game?
I agree with Joe.
Okay.
I agree with Jason. I agree with Tony. I agree with Jameson. I'm taking Jaylen Warren over Tootin. I'd be 10 toes down that he outproduces. He's a better running back in 2025 than Tootin.
Yeah, it's the safe pick.
But a lot of people like Tootin. Tootin is better than Warren. That's the Kid G money. Tootin is better than Warren. JR Enterprise Warren is probably a top 5 pass pro back that plays in the league. I'll take Tootin, but I love Warren. Wyatt Wallace, Tootin. This one was a tough one. This one was a tough one, Jay. Where else do we have? It's funny that this name is right up with the player that we're going to talk about. Let's go with a first-round wide receiver. We'll go with another first-round wide receiver, Jay.
Let's do it.
Everybody's favorite, Matthew Golden. Matthew Golden of the Green Bay Packers. JRich, or got a couple of names. I've got a couple of names, but we're going to start with George Pickens of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Would you rather Matthew Golden or George Pickens from the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Does he have to be on the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yes, he's there right now, so he's got to stay there. We can't move him. Then Pittsburgh.
Then I will take Matthew Golden.
Matthew Golden over Pickens right now.
I mean, what is Pickens going to do in this offense? This offense stinks. And they just gave some other dude who plays his position $150 million. And I think, what did Pickens have? Like 500 or 600 receiving yards last year?
Maybe no, he had more than that. He had more than that.
Bro, he stunk it up last season.
I know.
Do you not know?
Oh, Joe, Golden. It's Golden is pouring in. Jameson, Golden. Joe, Golden. J. O'Connor, Pickens. Pickens is poison. Dude looks like Pooh.
No, it was the receptions. 59
Swim
receptions,
says Golden. Tim said battle of the dumpsters. As a Georgia homer, I am taking Golden 10 out of 10 times. Ricardo in the chat says Pickens over Golden.
Yeah,
are there trade murmurs on Pickens?
Ray.
Oh, give me that dog in the shiesty.
There was thought about him potentially being traded, being unhappy. He unfollowed the Steelers before the draft.
Right, yeah, I saw that.
We'll see.
I saw that.
Again, stupid George
Golden
Pickens
or
stuff,
Ayuk?
like always.
Golden or Brandon Ayuk?
I'm going to take Ayuk. Because they're stuck with him.
Golden or Terry McLaurin?
Terry McLaurin.
Same.
Love
Golden
McLaurin,
or DJ Moore?
DJ Moore. Do you disagree? You don't like DJ Moore, so why wouldn't you just take the first-time wide receiver over him? This really speaks more to that we're not big fans of Matthew Golden in Green Bay right now.
Jason said, can I choose neither? No, you have to pick one. Dare I say DJ Moore or Golden? Now, Tony, it was up. DJ Moore or Golden? Who would people rather have? Everyone is going to say DJ Moore, right?
Who would you rather have?
Golden.
Coward.
How's that a coward? All of y'all are picking DJ Moore. I'd rather have Golden. Who else do we have on the list that we want to pull up? JRich. Let's talk about Big Ollie. Gordon. 6th round running back. JRich. 6th round.
This is a question for you.
Miami Dolphins took him in the 6th round, and I have intently followed the beat reporters from Miami, listened to what they're saying. Miami's rushing attack was piss poor last year. Not good. Even with the great Devon Achane. Not good. Jalen Wright, not very good. They want to get back to running the ball. They draft Ollie, and what I'm reading is he brings something to the table that no running back on that Miami Dolphins team currently possesses. Size.
Is that being
girth,
over 5'10"?
Girth and size. He's a big boy, bruiser, and all the indications are they do not want to give Devon Achane that type of rushing work in 2025. Let him be the explosive playmaker. He wasn't very good last year, right? Not Achane. That's crazy, man. When his rushing yard prop line came out last year, I hammered the over. It was like $7.99. I'm like, shit, Achane. Easy money. Under. Busted for me, man. So, would you rather have Ollie Gordon, or we're going to go with another big plotting type running back that's actually got some opportunity. Ollie Gordon or Brian Robinson Jr., JRich?
Brian Robinson Jr. easily.
Yeah. So do I. I think so too. I think you've got to the Girthquake. That's a good one with Ollie Gordon. Yeah, I still think I would take Javonte Williams or Ollie Gordon.
Javonte Williams. And we're presuming he's the starter, right? Because
he is the
you got to give me something here.
He is the starter.
Yeah, Javonte Williams.
I want to check Ollie Gordon or Javonte Williams.
Javonte Williams.
Okay, let me go even dirtier, okay? Because this player is going to play with RJ Harvey. Ollie Gordon or what you think you're going to get out of Audric Estime?
Oh, Audric Estime. No. I thought you were going to at least give me Jaleel McLaughlin. No. I can maybe see a world, but no, I'll have to take Ollie Gordon there.
Tony says Ollie Gordon or Jaden Blue. Dallas Cowboys 5th-round running back. I'd
probably just take Ollie because I think there's a clearer path to playing time.
I'm coming around on Blue. on Blue. I do not think he's the type of running back you want to turn around and hand the ball to 15 times a game. That's probably not what you want to do. I mean, Texas got him off the field because he literally could not hold on to the ball, but then they deployed him in this receiving role, and he's excellent. Excellent in space. The hands are incredible. And here's the thing. He's going to look so much different than anything that Dallas has in the backfield right now. I'm kind of in on Jaden Blue. Some people are saying Girthquake is insane. An insane name, Girthquake.
The only running back that could look me straight in the eyes, Ray, at the Senior Bowl was Ollie Gordon.
Ollie Gordon's a big dude, man. Ollie Gordon is a very, very, very big running back. When Gordon gives us that 13 TD season Mostert had, it will be interesting. Is this Deontay Johnson's last stop, Ray? Where's Deontay at? Didn't he sign? Where'd he sign? Cleveland?
Signed in Cleveland, Ray. They're trying to have the most dysfunctional roster in NFL history. So we'll see what happens.
I got way too stuck on Jalen Wright. I think Jalen Wright is in trouble, personally. I think Jalen Wright is in a little bit of trouble.
Just a backup, right? He does what the other guys did. Now you have Ollie in there. One. There's a reason to play him.
It's a good one from Jamar Phillips. Shout out Jamar. Ollie Gordon or Isaac Guerendo? With knowing the Niners, got CMC.
Guerendo's the backup, right?
Guerendo's the backup right now, no doubt. They drafted Jordan
then give
James.
Me Guerendo. Give me Guerendo. Yeah.
Guerendo?
Sam Fran's backup running back over, hopefully, Miami's backup running back, or maybe their third string running back.
People like the Girthquake. So that is the new Ollie Gordon nickname for the
You better
show.
Text him and ask him how he feels about that. I should send
him a text about Ollie. My people said they're gonna call you the Girthquake. How do you feel about that? He'll tell me to delete his number if I if I do that. Any other players, Jay? I think we hit everybody on the board that we wanted to talk about outside of tight end. I really don't want to.
Do you agree with where they're at though?
Where are they at?
They are only behind. Let me get it real quick. Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, Sam Laporta. In order as you had them, Tyler Warren, then Colston Loveland. Ahead of TJ Hawkinson, George Kittle, Dalton Kincaid, and obviously the list only goes on from there. I like Jordan James and San Fran.
I love Jordan James and San Fran. Love it.
It's a good scheme fit.
He ran like 80%
Ray, do you think there's a world where he can catch some passes for them too?
I think he just fits the system and the scheme, the rushing attack well. Zone scheme in Shanahan's offense, that's what he ran at Oregon, like 80% of the time. I like the fit. If something were to happen to Christian McCaffrey, if something were to happen to Christian McCaffrey, it'd probably be a combination of Isaac Guerendo and Jordan James. I'm not saying James is coming in and leapfrogging Guerendo right out the rip, but I do like the spot, 4th round. Wasn't a 3rd-round running back. As long as San Francisco leaves round 3 running backs alone, we're good. Round 4, there's some life there. I do like Jordan James in San Francisco. Joe asked this question, Ollie or Neal?
Neal. Easily. I'll just bet on the Saints offense.
I just don't know what to think about New Orleans, man. I really don't have any polls on.
But you have Kellen Moore. You know what Kellen Moore does.
I don't really know what Kellen Moore does, to be honest with you. I don't know what he does.
I mean, he did pretty well with Dak Prescott. He was fine with Herbert, and he did well with Hurts.
Dak's good regardless. My thing with Neal, and I love Neal, who's playing quarterback? Like the offensive line is a mess. The defense
The offensive line is good. It's a good offensive line. And they just drafted another left tackle. Like, the offensive line is good.
The offensive line is not good. It was not good.
It's good. It's good. They have a lot of pieces. They've drafted offensive line like 3 of the last 4 years. They felt so confident in their offensive line that they declined Trevor Penning's option. Like, their offensive line is going to be good.
I don't think that's because they were confident in their line. I think that's because Trevor Penning was not very good. They lost multiple offensive line to start the season. They did not replace all those offensive linemen in the course of 8 months. It's not a good O-line. I like Kelvin Banks. I like Banks.
Yeah.
Good pick, right? But to say that they're a good line right now, okay, what about the quarterback play? Defense is still atrocious.
Quarterback play is what it is.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd probably take Ollie in Miami over Devin Neal in New Orleans. I think that is a better offense overall, and his fit. Because what are you hoping Devin Neal does? He's not taking any receiving work from Alvin Kamara. Zero.
No, I'm not.
Zero. Right?
I'm bet that is an injury bet, and that's it.
Okay.
It is if someone gets injured and they give Neal the job, which I think the draft capital maybe could say they could do that, or he could at least win the job. Versus, like, honestly, my biggest problem with Miami is that offense is so volatile, and week to week you just don't know what you're gonna get. Like, they've regressed so much from being efficient and well, like, oiled. They're just like so bad now. And obviously, if Tua gets hurt, that offense it's nothing, right? Like, we've seen that. So it's just it all revolves around Tua and how efficient they're gonna be and whether or not Tyreek Hill wants to be there. And it's just kind of a bit of a mess right now.
Would you rather Ollie Gordon or Brashard Smith in Kansas City?
I think I'm just gonna bet on Brashard Smith. Like, just give me Patrick Mahomes.
Let's start to wrap up with that, because we have not talked about Brashard Smith. That's a player that you and I both like coming out of SMU. Yeah. Real fun to interview at the Senior Bowl. Dynamic, right? It was very clear that he was the best pass catching running back out there, one of the better running backs in Mobile. Go 7th round, Jay. 7th round pick. You know, 7th round pick.
Here's
but in a good situation. But in a very good offense where his skill set seems to be much different than that of Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco. So where are you at with Brashard Smith in Kansas City?
I think the question people should be asking, Ray, is he for sure a running back in Kansas City? Like, why can't he play a mix of wide receiver and running back? Because he's already a wide receiver. He's a trained wide receiver that converted to running back. And if Andy Reid was
like, do we really want that anymore, though? Do we want any of these guys that are one thing and let's try to make them something else?
You may not want it. You may not want it. But, like, I think there is a world where they look at him and they say, you know what? He can be in this role in our offense and be very effective. Because when you look at Rashee Rice, people didn't think he was going to be a power slot coming out of college, right? That's not what he did. He put on the outside. And they said, you know what? We put him in this spot. He can be very effective for us, and he obviously has been. And so while it's 7th rounder, like, we're not going to project him to be like a world beater by any stretch. But I would just say, you know what? I'm going to trust the offense. I'm going to trust Mahomes, and I think they will find a creative way to use him. It'll probably be a little gadgety, or he'll be sitting on the bench, but I think they'll find a way to utilize him. And it may not be in just a rushing role. It may be a bit of a hybrid rushing receiving role.
I guess it's what do you think the outcome is going to be? And when I love Brashard Smith, I would rather you just tell me he'll be the receiving back, right? If you just say he'll be JRich McKinnon. Remember McKinnon was there a couple of years ago, and he was they used him very creatively.
But can he pass pro, right? That's
you probably don't want Brashard Smith doing that, pass pro and 3rd downs. If you were to tell me that, but when you start getting into they're going to do this and make him play that, and then I just look at Ollie. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about what he's going to do. He's not going to be the receiving back. He's not going to be the 4-minute drill back. You're hoping he's the between the 20s guy and a goal line option. Like, it's the pathway isn't as elaborate of a story as I have to get my mind to wrap around for
But
Smith.
it's a low, I don't want to say low ceiling, but, like, you know what I mean? It's just,
Didn't Mostert have like 50 touchdowns a couple years?
He did, because he was the goal line back, right?
Because he was the goal line running back, which was not Devon Achane.
But if all he doesn't have the goal line role and he's a between the 20s grinder,
what other role is he going to possess? He's 6'2", 230.
There's no other role for him.
But I mean,
do you want a between the 20s grinder potentially, or a pass catching option? Which again, we know that targets are worth way more than rush attempts. So do you want to bet on the pass catching option, or do you want to bet on the potential goal line back between the 20s grinder?
If the pass catching option wasn't a 7th round pick, I'd feel a lot better. I would feel a lot better.
Talking about a 7th rounder and a 6th rounder, so it's like there's not that much difference.
Right. There's not that big of a difference, but again, to get to that role, it's in my opinion, it's much easier to plug in big running back at goal line, big running back between the 20s, than a undersized receiving back learning the Andy Reid concept to be on the field to do that when they clearly trusted Kareem Hunt to do that. He's going, and I'm not saying Hunt is good. I'm not saying he's explosive. We know, but he's got to be able to execute it, right? He's got to be able to do that. So I hear you. It's a more valuable role if he gets that. But if I had to project today, it's just easier for me to see them say turn around Tua, handball to Ollie.
There's no concerns. He doesn't need to learn anything. He just needs to do his job, which is run the football, and that's
run the football.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
And I love Rashard Smith, and I will draft Rashard Smith. But
Luke said, "Isn't Madison there?"
Well, where in Miami?
Yeah, Alexander Madison. They swap. I think they
and
swapped
here's the
with
thing. If he can't beat out Madison, then he's a bum, right? Then you just move on. But I'm not. We're talking about 6th and 7th round running backs, but more so the pathway for them to get on the field to score you some points, right? And Devin Neal, we kind of talked about Devin Neal a little bit. For sure, the Saints' 2nd running back. Again, wouldn't say for sure.
Wouldn't say for sure.
I would not say for sure, especially at the start. Y'all know how this goes. You don't need me and JRich to tell y'all know how this goes. Veteran preference normally weighs out at the start. You're gonna give the vet. They know what to do. They've been in the league. They're going to be where they need to be when they need to be there. But come week 17, week 16, week 15, as the season progresses, I do think there is a possibility that Devin Neal works his way to that 2nd running back spot before the end of the season. Absolutely. Am I banking on him to do that out the gate? No. We do this shit every year. I promise you when we get to training camp, it'll be the 5th running back. He'll be RB5 on the Saints depth chart to start training camp. And people be like, oh man, not that. And it's not that he's not
Jamal
any good.
Williams, right?
And it has nothing to do with him being good or not, but they're going to give this veteran preference to those guys more times than not to start, right? And then once they go out there and can't do shit with their opportunity, let's get the young gun in there. And I think that'd be Devin Neal. The only problem is he's behind a freaking Hall of Fame running back, man. That's the only problem. That's the only problem.
They have a lot of running backs on the roster, but to be fair, he should be the 3. He should be the 3. He should be behind Alvin and Kendre. Because behind that is Clyde, Xavier Valade, right? We're talking about a throwback name.
Oh, gosh.
You know who else they picked up, which is actually really exciting? I didn't even know this. Did you know that they signed Marcus Yarns? You want to talk about
who signed Marcus Yarns? The Saints?
The Saints. That is a bigger deal than anything else. Marcus Yarns as the receiving Alvin Kamara backup, if he was to somehow win that role, that is very intriguing.
Was that right after the draft? That was right after the draft, huh?
It must have been. I didn't see that. But he is a player, like obviously it was a UDFA, he didn't get drafted, but I really like that. Because Marcus Yarns, you talked about Rashard Smith, Marcus Yarns was probably just right there with Rashard Smith at the Senior Bowl for receiving back options. He was right there with them, and he's very talented.
Ollie, pass pro is great too. Could be something that keeps him on the field. Joe said Ollie's on my radar now just because he could luckily score 13 TDs with 123 yards as a rookie. And again, just look at the number. And I know Achane was hurt. I know Tua was injured. Miami was a mess last year. That wasn't a good product they put on the field. Variety of angles. Offensive line needed some help. But they were missing something in that rushing attack. They cannot be giving Achane 25 attempts for 82 yards. It's not the best. You want to keep him fresh and explosive. So what the team told me is we need somebody that's not currently here, and Ollie's big. He's physical. He can do some of that stuff to keep Achane and company upright. All right, Jay. Got a couple of super chats. We're going to get out of here. We got to do it again on Friday. Jimbo says, WTF am I doing at the 102? 102, JRich. 102, Hampton or Hunter?
And I got to make the pick?
Hampton, Hunter, or Henderson? Which one you want? Or Harvey, the 3 H's. Hampton, Hunter, Henderson, Harvey. Harvey?
Hunter.
Harvey?
Hunter.
Yeah, Travis Hunter.
Yeah, I would take Hunter. Hampton? If I'm forced to make the pick, it'd be...
Why not Hampton?
If I have
that photo?
one pick...
See that photo of Hampton shaking Harbaugh's hand?
Yeah, that's a weird photo because
weird
other
angle,
photos, right? But like it makes no sense.
He looked big.
He looked like he was 6'4".
He looked very big. Silas, what's happening with you, man? Appreciate you. Silas says Shakir clears all these guys outside of Waddle. Shakir was actually on our list. Would you rather Khalil Shakir
he was
or
talking about
Igbuka? You would take Igbuka. 100% you would.
You would take deal, Josh Allen, Brandon Bean, flaming the media.
Shakir or Igbuka?
I'll take Igbuka, but I like Shakir. I was right about Shakir. Everyone dogged me for liking Shakir last year, and he was good.
Let's finish. Let's go back to this. Golden or Keon Coleman? Hit the music. Hit the music. Golden or Michael Pittman?
Oh God, Michael Pittman.
With Richardson?
He'll get me 900 yards, and that's all I need. Just give me the 900 yards. We'll be fine.
Golden or his own damn teammate, Jaden Reed?
Oh, gotta be Golden, unfortunately, for Jaden Reed.
Golden or Jerry Jeudy?
I'm going to take Jeudy. I like Jeudy. I've always liked Jeudy.
Interesting. I'm looking at the chat. I'm looking at the chat to see if anybody jumped in at the end. Joe said, I'll trade down. You can't trade down, Joe. You got to take that one. That's a good point. If I had the 102, I'd have no problem trading back. If I want Hunter, but if I could trade back to 1-4-1-5 and just take whatever was left for me, I'd be fine.
That's what I mean.
That.
Like, let someone trade up for that Hampton. Let them do it, and you can just get someone else and get more assets with it. Like, let that happen.
Igbuka over Shakir, and it's not remotely close. Jason said Golden, the new Packers wide receiver 1, so that means Reed gonna get all the targets, probably.
Basically.
And then everybody is saying Jerry Jeudy, Jerry Jeudy, Jerry Jeudy. All right. Appreciate y'all pulling up, tapping in. What would you rather Wednesday? Would you rather Wednesday? Daniel just jumped in the building. He said, good morning, fellas. Tapped in live for the first time. Thank you for all you do. Appreciate you, Daniel. Thank you for being here. Hopefully you got to hang out for a little bit. Joe said, yeah, get something for that 102. It truly doesn't matter. It doesn't. Get squeezed, though, right, Joe? I'm going to try to squeeze you a little bit for that 102. You know, I got to make that pick. I really want that 102, but in my head, I'm like, I'll take the 105 and be just fine. Appreciate y'all pulling up. Make sure you tap into all the content on the channel. Hit the thumbs up button, like, comment, subscribe, and make sure y'all wake y'all asses up with me and JRich on Friday. Jimbo, you better be in the building. Feel Good Friday, Freaky Friday, first Friday of May. We gonna have a day. Thank y'all. Love y'all. See y'all soon. We out. Peace.